And good morning again, everyone. Talk Radio, no man its master, 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station on a beautiful Saturday. 75 will be the high and a lot of wind. And then tomorrow, Sunday, snow comes in, a cold day. And then Monday, it starts to build back up. We're going to be in the 80s by the end of next week. It's good to have everyone here. Let me just read this. The text messaging machine is on fire, so I will read this to you. Peter, I don't even know why you're doing this debate. The genie is out of the bottle. Anti-choice laws are only going to pass on a local level from now on. That won't last much longer, as a national law guaranteeing the right to an abortion for any woman is surely going to be enacted within a decade. A majority of Americans are tired of Christians trying to force their views on everyone. Let me tell you how this show came together. Jonathan, Flora, my partner's with me here this morning, and somebody said it was a request, I think, to have Adam McManus on the show, and longtime talk show host, and we booked him, and he was, and I knew that he was a right-to-lifer. And it was really, really good. And Jonathan's here, and we all talked about it. And then through a friend of mine, Leanne Wheeler, who is working for Dr. Jenna Preston, who is running for Congress in District 4, and she is a Democrat, and she was listening to the conversation, and she put in a request to Adam, who's on the other side of the wall, and said, I need to, in essence, get into this conversation. She came in the last segment, and she's staying with us. And, of course, Jonathan's here. The lines are jammed. I don't know what this one says, just to give you an idea. Peter, on the psychiatrist, pardon me, what religious order does she belong to? Where was she born? Is she a Democrat? Who, what, where? We talked about that. So, yeah. Dr. Preston, welcome to the jungle.
Thank you.
We'll go to the phones here, and I promise, and Jonathan will be part of this. A quick bio on yourself, because you really just came into the show and sat down and went to work. So,
of course.
I know your voice is a little.
I will project. I'm from Jersey, so that's where I'm from, in case people want to know. So I will
go back to Jersey.
I will use my Jersey voice to try to project things. So
one of my father's lines.
I'm a clinical psychologist. I am running for Congress. I am a Democrat. And some days I'm reluctant to be a Democrat. I do identify as more of a moderate. That was one of the questions. You'll see me in purple all the time, because I'm really that blend between the blue and the red. I kind of fall in the middle, where I feel most of us do. I currently work with our active duty military on a military base here in Colorado, where I've done that for 7-8 years. My husband is an Air Force veteran. I have a teenage son. I've been a therapist for 30 years, so I have worked with mostly in community mental health, so with underserved, underprivileged children, but with adults, children. I had a private practice in England, which is for another story, when I was a highly skilled migrant, and being able to have the status to work out there. So I've been doing this work for a long time, and yes, I wanted to join the conversation about just women's health.
You were welcome. I'm really glad you're here.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you've been with me a bunch of times, but because you're here, do a quick bio so everybody knows your wife.
Yeah. I'm her arm candy.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be married to Deborah Flora. But I, long sports background, broadcasting, WWF, as you and I have talked about quite a bit, marketing, also with the Dodgers. And then I was a producer with Walt Disney Studios for 22 years. And we had to get out of California, move out of the People's Republic to the People's Republic. And this is where my wife is from. She's from Aurora. And so geographically, we love it here. And it's always a privilege to be with a man.
To be the man. All right, so I'm just going to take calls, and we're jammed up. 303-696-1971. Everybody's ready to go. Let's go. Lines are full. This is Samantha in Aurora, Colorado. Samantha, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Yeah.
For those Christians listening, I'd just like to tell them, God was pro-abortion. He flooded the earth, and there were thousands of women walking around with a baby in utero. He smited every one of them.
The flood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Jesus was not pro-abortion. Not at all. Read more scripture where he talks about knowing the hair on everyone's head before they're even born. One day is ordained. And it is interesting to me when people argue against being pro-life, they immediately want to insert Christian or religion or being a woman or a man. Remove all that. It's science. Life begins at conception.
God was pro-life.
What?
God was not pro-life. He smited all those babies in utero. That was the father of Jesus.
That's a ridiculous argument. He flooded the land because of the sins of man at the time. That wasn't.
Think about this. God hates sinners, so he made us all sinners. So God must hate us.
Okay. This is an entirely different conversation that you're taking us down. Go back, read Genesis. It'll be very clear to you.
I read the Bible. It's also pro-slavery, New and Old Testament, even telling you how to hit your slave and how to beat your slave. And it was read to the black slaves during the Civil War, so they would stay slaves.
But
read your Bible.
At the same time, Samantha, this is Peter. The movement of abolition comes out of the churches in New England, and the Uncle Tom's Cabin that set a lot of people, Harriet Beecher Stowe, they came out of the Protestant movement in New England, and even like Dr. King comes out of the churches, and the church plays a role the other way too. So before that begins, the Bible is one of two things, and I think if you let that out of it and just speak about people's lives, and I think that's a much easier thing for anyone to grasp. But anything else you'd like to say?
Yes, the King James Version took the word slave out of the Bible and put in the word handmaiden and handservant.
Yeah, I understand.
Because to make it less innocuous.
Well, but the Bible has been written and rewritten, and things have been added and things have been taken out. So I don't use that. I mean, don't use it as a weapon.
Yeah, and you're also.
I'm not. I'm just telling you what the.
No, you're using.
I'm not. I'm just telling you what the Bible says.
Samantha, this is Peter. I just said it to you. I don't think anybody should use it one way or the other. You hit somebody over the head with it.
All right, thank you.
All right, fair enough.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, this is Mary. Mary, you're on the show. Our guests are Dr. Jenna Preston and my partner, Jonathan Flora.
Yes, Peter. I'd like to go just a little bit different direction.
Sure.
I'm curious. In my mind, I think there's a lot of money being made out of abortions through the doctors and the clinic, and especially when the child is born. I believe those body parts are being sold, and percentages given to everybody that works in that clinic every time there's an abortion.
No,
We know body parts are a big deal.
I just finished a book that I recommend to everybody entitled Big Pharma. And I actually think in my own life I clipped into some of that. The medical profession, we're not talking about individual doctors, we're talking about corporations. Dr. Preston.
Yeah. So I don't know about all of that. I think, at the moment that there is, and we're talking about sexual activity, and we're talking about whether it's consensual or not, and whether, I think there's nothing more beautiful than if you are planning to have a baby, and if there is a consent behind having a baby, if there is some big conspiracy about
the caller's talking about selling body parts.
About selling body parts, I can't really comment on whether there's a mission out there to impregnate women in order to be able to harvest some of those parts and be able to sell those.
Yeah, Jonathan, what do you know
there
about
was a
that?
doctor in Philadelphia. I was just trying to look up his name about 15 years ago that was convicted on having abortions and then selling embryonic body parts and things such as that.
Well, you remember that and sell stuff. This is the Bush administration.
The stem cells.
Stem cells.
And all
that's
that.
right.
Yeah, embryonic stem
so
cells.
maybe we're talking about maybe working on making sure that we prevent unwanted pregnancies or ones that don't lead us down this path where there can have these bad behavior. I think, that's why I think things like giving women the right to birth control and having consent, and also for people to be able to say, yeah, this is something that I want to plan to have a family, I want to plan to have a baby, instead of it leading to a market out there for things like this.
Yeah, that's what I believe. That's family planning.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
Not family planning is after the baby is already in the womb, and now we decide on whether to let that baby go to term or not. I also, what the caller said earlier, I also do not believe in any way that the government should be involved in investing in abortions.
Do you think the
Planned
government
Parenthood.
should be involved in telling women whether or not they should or can or cannot have an abortion?
Yeah, it's murder. To me, I
So
totally believe it's
you
murder.
think it's okay for government to take away a person's right to?
Well, you're taking, no, not you. The woman is taking away the baby's right when they abort the baby.
What about the woman's right?
She had that right when she got pregnant,
What if
majority
it
of
was
the
a
time.
rape?
That's a different opinion.
What if
now,
it was
I
incest?
also believe.
What if it was just, it was
Okay,
a good night?
I'm trying to
They
answer
were
your
just-
question.
Okay, sure.
Two wrongs don't make a right. That baby, that is the result, and this is a really,
When you
really
s-
tough. This is a really, really tough conversation to have. And
Let me quick go back to Mary, the caller,
Yeah.
for a second. Mary, anything else you want to add to that?
Well, I'm really very curious of what exactly happens to the fetus, and is it sent to Big Pharma, or is it a doctor who's got his, excuse me, his own little business going?
Don't know.
And I think there's a lot of that.
Anybody?
But nothing is there. That's never been brought up in all I've listened to through the years about abortion.
Mary, I simply don't know. I apologize for not knowing. Anybody know?
I do not know.
Doctor, anybody? Thank you for a good call. To the wall again. One of the best responses to people who think abortion is okay is remind them that their mother chose life. That's from the wall. All right, let's go to Mike. Mike in Lakewood, you're on a radio show, 303-696-1971. First-time lines are open. Mike, you're on with Peter Boyles and Dr. Jenna Preston and Jonathan Flora. Your turn. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Peter, for taking my call. I just want to make one simple observation. Did you ever notice that the people on the pro-choice side of the argument always have to play defense, whereas the people who are on the pro-life side of the argument are always playing offense? And that sums it up, I think.
Doctor?
Yeah, I don't usually dabble in black and whites like always. That means that there's never a time that I'm playing offense, apparently. I will proudly take a stance in defense of women in this case, especially being the only woman in the room. And, but yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think I don't feel like I'm being defensive more than just, having a conversation and hearing both sides.
Where do you come down, Mike, on this?
Oh, I come down on being absolutely pro-life. But I mean, even in, Doctor, respectfully, even in what you said, you're still on the defensive side of a woman's right to an abortion. And the side that comes down on life is always on the offense, and the people on the other side have to defend why they believe that an abortion is okay, whether it's all the time or in certain situations.
Have you ever been, Mike, this is Peter, have you ever been at that crossroads moment yourself where a girlfriend or a wife or something, and you have to make the choice?
No,
Okay.
I haven't.
Okay. See, that's, I think that's a premier question.
Yeah, well, I have.
I know Jonathan has.
Yeah.
And if I can just weigh in there, as a clinical psychologist, something I shared in the earlier segment is that I have sat with women on all ends of the spectrum, women who were not able to get pregnant, women who were impregnated against their will, people who were very much wanting to have a baby and then experienced miscarriage, delivered stillborns. And if I'm coming across as in the defense, it might just be that therapist in me. That's also somebody who's more of an advocate.
Right. But one of the things I would say is this: if anybody knows the name James Robinson, who was an American evangelist. He was actually, his wife was raped, and he was born out of rape. And he became a Christian minister who had a great influence on many people in this country. So even that argument, is something that you have to defend against. When in fact, it comes back.
Peter, how old are you? Because I'm an old guy.
I'm 77.
So you're an old guy too.
I am.
And growing up, you and I obviously grew up in the 50s and 60s.
Correct.
And I mean, I saw, and I don't know what to do respond to it, but plenty of my friends, guys, hanging, the term was knocked up. And
yeah.
And we used to make a running joke, Pittsburgh steel mills. This is how a young man asked a woman to marry him. He would say, "You're going to have a what?" And that was a running joke, but it wasn't funny. And I mean, you and I both saw it. Jonathan's a little bit younger, and so, doctors, do you remember the time before abortion was legal? And guys and women and men had to get married.
Yeah, I'm glad that you bring that up because, I'm happy to tell my age. It's probably public at this point, but I don't care. But my mom, who I won't tell her age because she'll be very angry at me, but she, in her lifetime, she raises as a single mom. She raised 3 daughters. And at this stage in her life, she sees that women, for the first time in her daughter's lifetime, don't have as much choices and say about their own bodies. And that's a mom who raised me. She's a beautiful lady. And this is a really important thing, is that we're giving people the decision to make decisions. And the term knocked up, who knows where that actually kind of came from, right? And it has such a interesting piece of things, but I also think it does lend itself to an important conversation that you're saying, is that, here we are in 2026, and the circumstances related to, people dating and interacting and how relationships are formed, and, whether it's in the bonds of marriage and all of those different things, it is different. And I think if we're judging by standards of half a century ago, it's important to kind of update ourselves on how people get into different circumstances and where people's views come from in their different circumstances. So,
regardless, I mean, you're not as old as the caller and myself, but it's true.
Yeah.
And so what then?
Yeah, I mean, I work with military, and I'll just use as an example, or in some of the youth, and I've worked with teenagers who said, I'm just going to go and get knocked up or have a baby because I want someone to love. So they will go out and, have sex with lots of different partners in order to have something that they can love. Like, I've seen things on the whole gamut of things. I've also seen people who are just promiscuous, or people who were just, looking for different things. And I mean, we see stuff on the news, certainly, where there's people that are, not even at age of consent. Like, is that something that a person should be able to, I don't know. There's just, it's a great debate. I appreciate this conversation.
Oh, please.
Yeah, and I've just seen it from so many different angles, and
let me interrupt everybody.
Please.
We're close to a pause. We'll come back and we'll take a couple calls. We'll take it to the bottom of the hour. We'll get your platform out, and then we're going to switch back, okay?
Yeah, of course.
All right, everybody hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Flora, Peter Boyles, 710 KNUS. It's going to be 75 for the high today. Everybody hang on your hats. We're coming back.
Your 710 KNUS forecast is Saturday, partly sunny and breezy with gusts up to 35 miles per hour, highs near 75. Big change tonight, rain changing over to snow, strong winds with low temperatures near 25. Quite a bit cooler for Sunday with snow showers early, highs near 35. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710. Your 710.
Here we go. Country music with the flute. Marshall Tucker Band. There ain't no Marshall Tucker. Huh? 710 KNUS Denver's Talk Station. We did a show with those guys. They were wonderful. Saturday morning, the 14th of March, St. Patrick's Day Parade Day. 75 will be the high. Jonathan just said, and then tomorrow it snows. Makes sense. Love this song. Love the whole band. And there's the story that they told me was they had a practice hall in Dallas. And on the key, it said Marshall Tucker. Marshall Tucker was the key company. And because when we met them, I said, who's Marshall Tucker? And the guy said, there's no Marshall Tucker. Marshall Tucker Band. Talk about your health for a minute. We all know a great smile matters, but a lot of folks put off the dentist because they're worried about the bill and the drill. So it's time to change how you think, do things right. Starts at Twin Aspen Dental Center. Dr. Rickard's going to be with us, so I thought one of these days we're going to have the doc here. Big fan, Dr. Snyder, Dr. Rich, using the latest technology to make things easy for you. We're talking about same-day crowns, no temporary crown that comes off on a Friday night, no second appointments. They do it right, so whether you need dentures, implants, or finally ready to straighten things out with an Invisalign, the team at Twin Aspen treats you like a neighbor, not a number. I like that, and it's true. They accept most insurance, and their in-house membership plan is a game changer for families looking to save to prevent and preventative care. Don't put it off. Stop putting it off and take the first step towards a better smile and better health. Visit them online, twinaspendentalcenter.com. It's easy to navigate. You see everything they offer. Twin Aspen Dental, it's one line. It's twinaspendentalcenterpot.com. twinaspendentalcenter.com. 303-841. If you're like having some problems with your chompers, 303-841-7466. 303-841-7466. Whatever you do, make an appointment, go and see them. You will love these guys as dentists. Twin Aspen Dental Center, your smile will thank you. This has been one of those mornings that will go down in the annals where we start out one way and end up another way, and it's cool. So let's take a second, Dr. Jenna Preston, running for, I said fourth District 4, right?
Yeah, Lauren Boebert's seat.
Yeah, and Jonathan and I are here. Getting away from what really took the show away for a while was good stuff. Talk about running for office. Okay. What's wrong with you?
I know, right? As a psychologist, people are like, I've never ever thought about running for office, but it was really kind of the outcome of the election, I will say, in 2024, when I saw things kind of going in a different direction, and one of the big things was Lauren Boebert got elected. I have family on the Western Slope.
Because you're running against her.
I'm running, yeah.
If you get out of the primary,
If I get out of the primary, I'll be running against Lauren Boebert. She's from Rifle. I have family in Rifle. My uncle Bob was a science teacher at Rifle High School, the high school she dropped out of. So I know District 3. That's where my family, I've been going there ever since I was a little girl. So her coming over here and her winning the seat, I thought, oh my goodness. And then it was some other issues with our Board of County Commissioners that really said, you know what, no one's doing the right thing, and I've got to step up and do something. So that was my moment just over a year ago where I said I'm going to do something, and it was run for Congress.
So you've never done this before?
Never. I lived on Capitol Hill. I had roommates after roommates that worked for Congress people, and never even occurred to me then. I was always just in mental health, doing therapy. Never occurred to me.
There's a strong need for mental health in Congress.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Thank you. That is one of my big platforms. There's not a single issue I can't connect back to mental health, whether it's women's health issues that we were just talking about, whether it's affordability, issues related to immigration, housing, healthcare, you name it. So much of it goes back. And the honor of doing this, of running, for Congress, is I get to talk with people, and the people that I've spoken with, it links back. People just talk to me about I'm not sleeping, I have depression. I'm so stressed out. I'm so worried about how our country, what's going on with our country. I'm like, you need somebody like me. There's only one psychologist in Congress, 0 in the Senate.
What state?
California.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, let's get somebody from Colorado I'm trained to listen. I'm trained to have difficult conversations
Well.
and work collaboratively with people. If you go to Buckley Space First Base, where I work now, if you say Dr. Preston, they'll say, yeah, I know who she is because I work with people from all different angles, from all different pieces. I don't care if you're a Republican, unaffiliated, a Democrat. Like, I just want to get stuff done and make lives better and listen and do that.
So you had to have that moment where you decided
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah.
Tom Tancredo, who was a dear friend, Tommy always said, all he did was try and raise money.
Oh, gosh. That's number one thing I would do is change campaign finance. My race running for the primary.
You know that Jonathan's wife,
Yeah.
Deborah, ran.
Yeah.
And she worked here, and so I met Jonathan
Yeah.
was through Deborah.
Yeah.
And she was in that same dogfight.
It's awful. Like, if nobody wants to get phone calls, text messages, and emails from people like us saying, please give me money. Where is it all going? And I think until we overturn Citizens United, it's getting worse and worse.
What's Citizens United?
Citizens United is when they decided that a PAC was considered like an individual, you know, and with it's like they can pour money into that. Oftentimes dark, you don't know where it's coming from, and that has just changed.
Oh, that's really true.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
It-
witnessed it, and whoever. I mean, they'll tell you if I give you, what's the old line? If I hire the band, I get to tell them what to play.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
And I'm not taking any of that. I mean, people will see I have no name recognition. I've never run before, so raising money is something that's more challenging for me. So, but I see it in my own race. There's another candidate in my race, and I mean, she's raised millions and millions of dollars, and I'm like, where are we going with this? Like, if it takes $9 million to run in a primary now, 2 years from now, what's it going to be? And it's not attainable. Like, there's not people like me who can run for office because,
Tom talked about he won the election. What did you do the next day? Got on the phone and asked for money.
Well, especially Congress, it's every 2 years.
It's every
so
2
you're
years.
like, you're always running it, to your point, with Eileen Laubacher being an end. She's
It's
retired.
ridiculous.
She's raised like $6 million at one point, and Tricia Calvarez has 1.7. Bobert, on the other hand, 725,000, and then you
And she's the
Pandora.
incumbent. And she's the
She's the
incumbent.
incumbent, and
The thing to look at too is how much money have they spent. So look at how much money Eileen has spent, and a lot of Eileen's money we don't really know where it came from.
Yep.
And Trisha's money, how much she has actually spent. So there is an industry out there that preys on candidates.
Explain dark money to folks in the audience.
This money could be coming from Saudi Arabia, and then it's like sent over here to the country, and then it's put
gets
into
washed.
a PAC.
It gets washed.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we don't know where this money comes from.
And when Deborah ran, there was a ton of money that appeared. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, it did. And when Lauren Boebert jumped from one district to another, because she was going to lose in the other one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she was.
And Deborah outraised all the others, but she did not outraise Lauren Boebert.
No one.
Then Boebert came with the celebrity status and the name recognition. Is your part. It's tough being a first-time candidate.
And she jumped.
And she jumped.
She jumped.
And nobody leans into like, what does the person offer? Like, I am as honest and compassionate and transparent. I have so much integrity to a fault.
Then you'll lose.
People, I know. And what the first thing people look at is, let me go on the FEC and let me see how much money you raised.
Yeah.
That's how we're trained. And the thing
Do
is,
you get asked how much money you raised?
once in a while, I think they kind of know my numbers are probably pretty low because I'm, but yeah, I mean, let me tell you this.
All right.
The Colorado Democratic Party, when I first declared in August, they said, oh, I'm going to give you a 15-minute call with the chair of the Colorado Democratic Party because I'm not.
And
opposed.
she's getting out now. No, it's a Republican that's getting out.
So this
Britta's
is now.
getting out.
And he said, I'm going to give you a 15-minute call. 80% of that 15-minute call was, how much money can you raise? And if you don't raise this amount of money by this time, then you're not seen as viable.
Oh.
I'm like, thank you. I'm a mom. I'm somebody who's saved people's lives. I deal with people who are suicidal every day. I volunteer with like tragedy assistance program. Also, you don't care about that. It's only how much money can you raise.
Deborah tells the same story.
Same story. Majority of all her calls, and across the country too.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to go for locals, of course, but then across the country is raising money.
Yeah.
And then you go to the forums. I mean, she won more straw polls than anybody else, but it's still, how do you get your message out there and who's going to hear? Because we're inside the sausage making.
Yeah.
The general public really has almost no idea.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you.
Please.
What is the process for making sure that you're on the ballot for the primary?
Yes, thank you. That is such a good thing. I chose not to do caucus and assembly because I did the math, I did the data, and I learned that less than 1% of registered Democrats that voted actually participated in caucus and assembly in 2024. And I thought, that's not democracy. Less than 1% is going to choose who's on your primary ballot. And then this year, more people participated, quote unquote. It was 1.87. Less than 2% of people in Douglas County participated in caucus, and that's who's going to decide who's on the primary ballot. So I chose to do petition. I'm still collecting signatures. Yes, sir.
How do you feel about the closed open primaries? You know, as you know, there's a movement to close primaries to only Democrats or only Republicans. The fear that I hear is that the Democrats will choose the Republican candidate.
I personally think this two-party system has got to go.
George Washington said that.
It has
Oh,
got
yes, he
to
did.
go.
He
said
Because
it
this
would be
is
the
just
death
like,
of the republic.
It's all about it's dividing us like mad crazy. We are so divided. We can't even talk to our neighbors. That's why people go, oh my God, I can't. I'm afraid to put my flag out. I'm afraid to put my sign out. I'm afraid to do this stuff. Like this Republican Democratic thing is so unhealthy.
But what about in the primary system? And you know, you can buy your way in. You know, you really can.
I know.
Yeah,
if you have $1 million, you can go and do this. Like, you know, okay, I can get in. I can pay for all this stuff. It is not representing the people.
Yeah, to me, petitioning on is the real grassroots.
Yeah. And I need some
So
signatures.
you have to go with volunteers.
But you got to hire
whether-
the guys to go out and
I'd
get the
hire
petitions.
volunteers to stand in front of King Supers and Lowe's and
Or
everywhere
pay
else.
them.
Or you
Or
have to have
pay
an
them.
amazing
Well, that's what I mean.
husband.
That's if you hire folks to
My
do
husband
that.
sat in front of the rec center with a big sign that said, "My wife is running for Congress. Please sign this petition." He also converted his current affiliation to Democrat for 22 days so he can sign my petition.
I lived in front of the King Supers, and I had the same opening line. My wife is, and fill in the blank. So I wanted to ask you a real quick question, because we know when a candidate volunteers, the entire family volunteers.
Yeah.
I like to talk to the spouses. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to the spouses, especially husbands of female candidates.
Well, how did you feel?
How's your husband?
Oh, how did your husband
Well, there's
feel?
people I want to punch in the throat because they say
I know.
things that we're wired to protect our wives. Now, we married big girls. They could take care of themselves. But still, people are very brave behind a keyboard or that wall.
Yeah.
How's your husband doing?
I could call him right now and tell you he's the greatest guy on the planet. Again, he's an Air Force, a retired Air Force officer.
He was a pilot, wasn't he?
He's a pilot. He was a pilot, and he flew a tanker, the tanker that just went down. So, he is protective, but he knows I'm very strong. He's my biggest advocate, and he is, I don't think he worries more than he does. Just sort of, he just knows what a good person I am.
But it's got to. I mean, I remember my family that this show, or past shows when threats come and everything happens. And how did you, Jonathan? I never asked you this. Deborah got,
We got death threats.
Yeah. So how'd you handle it?
Tequila. No, no. You have to bite your lip a lot of prayer for protection. When we're at these events, I'm physically there as well. But she's also tough skin.
Oh,
she knew getting into this what it was going to come from, and majority of the insults and the criticism comes from people that don't even know you.
Yeah.
So they're just jumping on a platform or jumping on one. Where does most of your criticism come from?
The Democrats.
There you go.
The Democrats.
Oh,
the Democratic
most
Party.
of Deborah took it from the
We said
Republicans.
all our wounds were in our back.
I have been, I've been on my own. It's so very lonely as a candidate too. It's been since 2 minutes.
We got 2 minutes left in this segment.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to the audience?
If you are a registered Democrat, that's like a dinosaur out there. I do need a few more signatures. So that would be one thing. My website is Preston4Congress.com. So that's where you can learn some more information about me. I would just want people to know that I'm going to make a big difference. I would do things way different. I would make some big changes, and I wouldn't be somebody who's just going to follow party line. One of the biggest threats is my Democratic Party. They're the meanest. But as soon as I have a D attached to my name, the Republicans automatically assume I'm this like weird liberal that's going to make their kids trans or something kind of weird. And I just want people to know me.
I love politics.
I'm one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And I am really doing this for the right reason. And I am running very much in that unaffiliated.
You've done great in here this morning.
Thank you so much. So it's been an honor to be here.
Oh,
But that's one thing I didn't say.
It's not an honor, but thank you for being here.
This is my first radio chance. So
Well, you did great.
Yeah, you did great. Go get them. And
Yeah, thank you.
We got about a minute to the other side. Well, and the two of you, I know I loved watching this because I didn't know what was going to happen.
yeah, we didn't know if it was going to get ugly.
And between you two, you've lived the same segment, which is always makes somebody attractive.
And as we said, this is an art form that's lost,
Oh.
Yeah.
is being able to discuss without walking out or
Absolutely.
A real quick question.
Yes, sir.
We got a minute, boss.
In your platform, you call yourself a moderate
Yes.
Democrat. What does that mean in today's Democratic Party?
Yeah, I'm very purple. So I know there's the extremes on the left side, which is the blue, and the extremes on the right side, which is the red. In the middle, in that blend of the red and the blue, is really the purple, and that's what I'm capturing. It's 80% of us because we all have a lot in common. Most of us agree. We want good homes. We want health care. We want all of those things.
Well,
So
good
that's
luck, and
my-
thank you for
Thank
stepping into
Break a
the
leg.
arena.
All right. Jonathan and I come back. We go back on the other side. 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station, 75 the highs. Back to Talk Radio on a Saturday, March the 14th, 2026. Good old 710 KNUS. 75 the high and 32 tomorrow. Go figure. Jonathan's right, 53 on Monday. 710 KNUS. We're going back into open lines on UFOs and the selected theories. And again, back to Obama says they're there. And then Trump's going to come out and say, I'll give you all the docs. And then the docs don't come and all this stuff. There's a new Spielberg movie coming. Have we been visited? UFOs, real, or are they here now? Did the whole idea of how life comes to the planet, and you've heard all those theories, but it's interesting. Want your thoughts, Jonathan and I, 303-696-1971. Dan Kaplan's Law. If you want your case to be taken seriously, you choose a law firm that is taken seriously, and Dan Kaplan's Law is taken seriously. Kaplan, Danny's my friend, been a long-time friend, the only attorney in Colorado history to win 11 straight seven-figure jury verdicts, including a record $205 million jury verdict in a wrongful death case, largest truck crash jury verdict in Colorado history. The man, Dan Kaplan's Law, serious firm for, of course, serious cases. They accept righteous injury and death cases on a percentage fee basis. There is no upfront fees, no charge for the initial consultation. So if you're in a jam, you just want a question answered, and now Danny's in Denver. His law firm has offices in Denver, Greeley, Loveland, and Fort Collins. If you want your case to be taken seriously, here's the man. Call the man, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551. Hit Dan Kaplan's Law on the internet, and Danny's last name is spelled C-A-P-L-I-S, law.com. Before we go to the phones, they're jamming up real quick, 303-696-1971. We didn't even get a chance to talk about this. Jonathan, Flora, Peter Boyles, have we been visited?
Klaatu Barada Nikto.
That's it. You had it right.
Join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face obliteration.
That could
That's
fit
a warning
right
to
now. Yeah.
So, boy, have we? I don't know. I mean, they could be among us. And that's the Spielberg one. It's a very intriguing looking movie based off the trailer.
And of course, Obama does. Obama says it, and then I'll read you this headline. Trump vowed to release government files on aliens and UFOs. Why haven't they been released? And what could be in them? I'm serious. I mean,
Do you believe the president's book exists? You see National Treasure?
Yes, of course. I mean, I like
that little book of secrets, whatever it might be.
Sure. I mean, I'll just read you this, and this was from last night. Phones are lighting up. The viral podcast moment last month reignited speculation about extraterrestrials and prompted President Donald Trump's commitment to kickstart the release of government files on flying saucers. But neither records nor details about their release have surfaced. And this is in the aftermath. Barack Obama appeared to confirm the existence of aliens on a podcast, and I quote former President Obama, "They're real, but I haven't seen them." Ooh. Say those words, Peter. Referring to the statistical likelihood of life elsewhere in the universe.
Well, Deborah and I are flying back to Washington, D.C. on Tuesday, so I'll let you know what we find out.
Let's go to the phones and start this up. This is Mike in Highlands Ranch. Hey, Mike, you're on the radio show. Good morning.
Hey, Pete. I absolutely believe that we have not been visited. And if you think about it logically, at the speed of light, in one direction, you would be traveling and hoping to run into another being in that direction. It's not like space travel, like we drive in our vehicles. Oh, I'm going to take a left here. I'm going to go down this street and visit this neighborhood that I haven't been in before. Do I believe that there is the existence of life beyond the Earth? I think so. I mean,
of course.
The variations just on this planet of species, I could imagine that being multitude times greater in the universe. But from a standpoint of being visited, the proof I have is simple. We've had cell phones and cameras for 50 years. Not a single clear image has ever been taken of another being from another planet.
But you don't know that. I mean, you don't know that they're not.
Oh, come on, Pete. Why is it that a group of people that are special that can't share it have the knowledge, but you and I walking around with a cell phone and turn the corner, oh, there's a green alien right there. I'm going to take a picture with my iPhone. Click. Oh, I got proof.
But hang on. All the pictures now, the pictures that were part of the dump of all the flying objects, and they're coming out saying, yeah.
Nothing clear. Nothing clear. Everything blurry.
Stuff's on radar screens and flying overhead.
Again, everything is obscured. There is not a clear image of a single clear spacecraft.
How about
period.
This?
And we've had the tech.
Both of you guys. So we go to the moon, and then we don't go back. And if you read those theories, they said, we met them. And they said, don't come back. And nobody's got, no, I'm serious as a heart attack. They go like, all right, because we were going all the time. We were going every other day. Guys are going to the moon. And one day, we don't go back. Why? And they said that we had, there was a meeting.
I think it's the cost.
We beat the Russians.
It's the cost and the shards. I think that I do. My understanding is the shards of space dust are very, because they don't have any winds, everything is very sharp and damaging to the skin, to any mucus, any open skin exposure. When those people got back in those spacecrafts, the space dust was very aggressive to the human body because it hadn't been rounded and smooth.
This just came in quick. This guy doesn't know there's a substance. The most recent discoveries in the past 25 years, or 25 or 30 years, on the new level physics. That was aimed at you.
Me?
Yeah,
what does that have to do with aliens?
I don't know. I'm just reading what's came up. Huh?
I mean, great. Yeah, there's all kinds of new scientific breakthroughs.
We went to the
moon.
moon.
I'm talking about alien beings traveling in spacecrafts to the Earth. There's not a civilian around the world that has got a clear picture of one.
So, here's one.
We have about 6 billion people with iPhones on this planet, and nobody can get a clear picture of a spacecraft and an alien together, or just one or the other. Not a single clear picture with all the imagery that we have at our disposal.
Right. What about Donald Trump and Barack Obama saying yes?
Those are lizard people, not aliens. You guys have a wonderful day.
No,
and they're all at DIA right now.
Stay there, Mike. Yeah, stay one second. When I was in grad school, Joseph Stalin had this guy named they really liked named Velikovsky. Well, I don't know why I remember this. And Velikovsky did a book, and I read it. Shows you I got to get a life. Called Worlds in Collision. And I mentioned this. We mentioned the lizard people. That's what triggered it. And he writes, and we talked about this in the first hour, when Europe was all forest, and there was paths but not roads, and we had come as far as into communities, and so the Germans, or particularly the Germans, would be in these dark forests, and they would be off on their own. And remember, they're hunter-gatherers, they're hunters, they're scratch and burn farmers. And somebody would see something, and this is the beginnings of the mythology of that the Grimm brothers. I got to do this quick. And what Velikovsky made a choice, and he said they were really seeing Neanderthals, the end of the Neanderthals, but they would see them, and they became the mythology of elves and the kinds of things that people began to speak about, but they were really the end of the Neanderthals, and they were in collision. Hey, Mike, thanks, man. Jonathan and I are going to take a break. 710 KNUS. It's turning into 12 o'clock. My guy Brando's coming back with us and talk about the biker show next weekend, and then we'll continue in open lines on Are We Alone? 710 KNUS.